Hey friends, all right. So we enjoyed so much our yarn tree a few weeks back, and I decided that we are also going to make a Valentine one, also because I came across all these pretty flowers that I have for a while now. I'm sure I purchased them for some type of project, but the project never came about. So we are going to do some with it today. So I'm going to start with a 15-inch styrofoam cone. You can use a smaller one if you like. I'm pretty sure I want to use the larger flower, so the larger cone worked better for me. We are going to use chunky yarn, and of course we are going to use a glue gun. I have both with me. I have my detailed glue gun and I have my regular glue gun. I always do keep some U-pins handy. These are floral U-pins. I will put the link below for the glue guns and the U-pins and the flowers as well. Okay, so let's get started. And I did find a pretty ribbon, which is red, pink, gold, and a little bit of white. So I think I'm going to incorporate a little bit of gold roping around the tree somehow. Okay, so we'll see. The first flower that I'm going to use, the red one, they do come in a pack, and they do come in 3 different colors with white, red, and pink. These are 2-inch styrofoam, not styrofoam, I'm sorry, foam roses. I will put the link below. Then I have this type that is 1.5 inches. They're the same foam roses, and then these ones that are 1 inch. Okay, so what I am thinking for my project is that I will be using the 1.5 inch, the 2-inch, and I think I want to put in the little one as well. But we'll see. I might totally change my mind as we start putting it together. Okay, but this, the 2-inch, they come together. They are red, pink, and white. So we're going to start with applying the yarn, and I always like to put an extra 3 inches, glue them to the back of my project, and then loop it around so that when I'm turning my yarn, it'll go over it and it'll just give it a little bit more extra security. I am going on a diagonal. However, I want to make sure that my flowers will cover the styrofoam entirely. So I'm keeping the distance in between the 2 lines of yarn at about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch. And you see how I'm keep securing the beginning of the yarn so that it just has a little bit more stability. Okay. As for the chunky yarn, I am doing just about 2 inches at a time. I don't want to go more than that. And you can do the tree, the entire tree, ahead of time and then go with the flowers. I choose to do a few steps at a time. So we're going to start with the flowers, and really you can pick and choose your own pattern. I didn't follow a specific pattern. I am starting with the smaller flowers, and I am using the 1.5 inch flowers. And originally I was going to do 1 red, 1 white. However, it was not looking good. So I kind of changed up the pattern as we went down with the tree, that it gets wider. And I wanted to have a little less white out there. The other thing you can do with these foam flowers, you just saw me do it, you can take off some of the petals to make it a little smaller if you wish. So I'm alternating 1 red, 1 white. One suggestion I give you is to make sure that once you glue them, you press down on them and give them a few seconds to really stick to it. So make sure you give it time to dry and then decide how you want your pattern to be. I chose to do my second row with just all red as they're too close to each other, and I didn't want the white to be so pronounced. Another thing you can do before you finish the entire tree, you're going to see me do it at the end. I'm going to put in a gold rope over the chunky yarn, and I chose to do it at the end because it was a bit too difficult to hold on to the yarn, hold on to the rope, and press down on my roses. And also, I didn't want to glue the gold rope onto the chunky yarn. I just wanted to have like a free feel to it. I didn't want it to be so stuck together. So what I'm trying to do as I go along with the pattern is to put the flowers on a diagonal motion so that the white ones are not so close to each other. And we just keep on like gluing the yarn and putting the flowers in between. Another thing you can also do if you wanted to avoid seeing the styrofoam base, you can paint the styrofoam cone to your liking. Once I was done with the flowers and the yarn, you cannot see the styrofoam base, so I was okay with that, and I knew I was going to make it close to each other so that the base wasn't going to bother me at all. So just keep on gluing and making the pattern however you like it, just like so. And keep on gluing the yarn down. Again, you can do it all from the beginning. I chose to do it as I went along because the size of the styrofoam changes as well, and I wanted to make sure that I was doing it correctly. And this is also a great project for children. It's rather easy. It will take up a little bit of time, so if you need to fill in some time when you're spending maybe an afternoon or a day with little ones, this is a great project. Again, it does take a little bit of, you gotta press those flowers down to make sure that the foam will stick to the styrofoam. And then alternate the pattern however you like it. As I got closer to the end, I realized that I did not want the flowers all the way at the bottom of my tree so that the tree could sit straight on whatever surface I was going to put it on. So I just made a list, maybe two, some spots it was two rows of yarn, just to make sure that I did close up with the yarn at the bottom. Once I got to the end, I used a U-pin to make sure that my yarn was not only glued but also secured even more. And here we go, friends. I chose to put my gold rope on my tree after. Like I said, I didn't want to glue it. So it was a bit too difficult to hold all the elements together as I went on with the gluing the roses and the yarn. You can very well do this at the beginning. And also I didn't want to run into the, maybe it'll be too hidden, underneath the flowers. I wanted it to be a little pronounced, but not too pronounced with the gold, just a little touch. So, and I just went over the chunky yarn and just moved some of the petals around to make it go underneath. Very simple. And when I got close to the end, I brought it all the way around, and I did use another U-pin to secure it in and then glued it down a bit. So of course, I have to put a little bow in. So I made a 3 loops bow, very simple. 3 loops on each side with one smaller. And I used the same gold rope to tie my bow. And I left the tails a bit long on the rope and on the ribbon. And I used a U-pin to put it on the top of my tree. And there you have it, just a simple rose tree, and I used a few more flowers to cover everything up and curled up my ribbons. I really hope you enjoy this project, and I hope to see you guys soon.